So Tony Wellington, would you like to speak here?
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming out this evening, everyone. It's fantastic to see so many people that care enough about our region to want to make an informed vote. I'm going to start with some broad brushstrokes, if I may. And strangely enough, I'm going to start by describing Division 12. Division 12 is unlike, I think, anywhere else on the planet. And I think it's good to be reminded of just how extraordinary the place is. It contains over 60 different regional ecosystems, ranging from dense rainforest to Wallam Heath. It's got massive saltwater lakes in a rather extraordinary river system. It's got a freshwater lake with the beautiful botanic gardens on it. It's got lovely towns, each with their own individual character. It's got fantastic hills that, some of which are volcanic plugs, which make the landscape quite extraordinary to the eye, aesthetically pleasing. And if you don't believe me, just go to the top of Mount Timbua any time and have a look at that fabulous world-class 360-degree view. And of course, Division 12 is also the gateway to Kalula, which itself is one of the great natural wonders of the world. Now, I say all that because I feel passionate about the place, and I'm sure most of you do here as well. And a sense of identity with place is an important component within the notion of well-being. And I just want to talk for a moment about what well-being is and why it's important in this discussion. In a sociological context, we can say that well-being is a good or satisfactory condition of existence. In other words, well-being isn't elation, it's not happiness even. Rather, it's about feeling okay about your life. And fundamentally, when you all go to the ballot box, that's the thing that you're thinking about unconsciously. That is, you're going to the ballot box saying to yourself, if I vote for this person, how is it going to impact upon my well-being? Will I be just as satisfied with my life before or after this person takes office? So I was fortunate enough in 2006 to spend an entire year researching this very subject. And one thing I discovered from looking at research right around the planet, from everywhere, is that the thing that matters most to people are people. Of course, we know this at heart. Sometimes we get deluded into thinking that the things that matter are money and material goods. But we all know that what really matters are family, friends and community. Now, the forces that forced Noosa into an amalgamation arguably had an impact on this community, and I'm hearing it often as I talk to people. The Noosa Shire area enjoyed a tangible identity, and in part that identity was a product of having their own council, because the council reminded them of who they were and where they lived. Now, I'm not saying that Noosa is better than anywhere else. I don't believe Noosa is elitist. I'm just saying Noosa is different. And they're the differences that probably brought most of you people here. They're certainly the differences that brought me here. And, some people might prefer, sorry, I'm popping into the microphone. Some people might prefer the Gold Coast, and that's fantastic. But having that individual choice is important. The other important aspect to note about well-being and the differences that create Noosa that allow us to identify with the place is that Noosa is a product of 50 years of community engagement. 50 years plus of people in this community saying, I care enough about this place to want to make it special, to want to make it different. I care enough to engage with the council, to fight with the council, to be a part of the council. This morning there was a service for Dr. Arthur Harold, as has been mentioned. Without people with that sort of passion, Noosa would be just like everywhere else now. And we wouldn't enjoy its defining elements. And I have to say, one of those great defining elements, and to some extent we have Dr. Harold to thank, is the fact that today, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but more than half of the former Noosa Shire is protected against any human development whatsoever. There's not many places around in Australia where that is the case. The differences that define Noosa are the things that brought not just us here, but bring businesses here, that bring tourists here. If we begin to lose the elements that define Noosa, then what we lose is Noosa's competitive advantage. If we end up just like everywhere else, then we end up competing with everyone else on exactly the same boring playing field. I believe that the best thing that we can do for Noosa is to make sure that we retain the elements that define the place. I had a whole lot more to say, and somehow when I said it at home I was working a lot faster at it, and I'm not going to be able to mention it all here, but some of the things that may, whether or not Noosa de-amalgamates, there's a whole list of things that I would like to see happen. I've got a 3-page policy document on my website. but a couple of them are, just quickly, reinstating the curbside rubbish clean-up and free tip vouchers, which have had enormous impact not just on the environment but the people of our area. I want to reinvigorate tourism in the Noosa hinterland, which has been ignored. I want to see increased transparency and accountability from our council. And most of all, I want to be the councillor that people say, he's responsive, he's available, and we can trust him with our problems and our dreams. Thanks for listening.